Today, our seminar is regarding building a real estate plan for 2023 and beyond. Well, the beyond is because real estate doesn't always happen super fast. Sometimes you need 5-10 years to build a plan, but the first step is building the plan and then executing that plan over the time period you look at. So, who would I be talking about a real estate plan if I didn't have a plan for today? So, I'll go through a quick introduction of myself. I'll go over the key to success in real estate, give you guys a quick reality check, not about your own lives, but about maybe the real estate market in general, where it's been
You can talk about
recently. Then we're going to talk about the components of building a real estate plan with me. Then we'll break down those components. I'll tell you a quick story about a client of mine and talk about taking the first steps. And then we're going to hear from Bruce as well regarding what he's doing. So an introduction about myself. You guys mostly know me, but I am Austin Cassidy. I am an agent here at Keller Williams, licensed in Washington, Oregon, and Oklahoma. So yeah, exactly, Oklahoma. Why Oklahoma? Well, Oklahoma is a great segue into the investment market for a lot of people because of the price point. The price point there is much lower than here in the Pacific Northwest, and sometimes people, especially starting out investors, find it difficult to step foot into our market today because of the prices, having to maybe put a little more capital down. And that's why we start to build a plan. Out-of-state investing is different than maybe right down the road. So having a solid plan is really important in that case. I've been a real estate agent for about 2.5 years. I was in the medical field before that. COVID kind of made a shift, and now I just have a passion for helping people in the situation they're in. What I realized when I was in the medical field is, yes, I want to help people, but maybe that wasn't the path. I found a new path where I'm able to really pour into my clients and help them through the process of building their real estate portfolios, whether it's a personal home, a vacation home, investment properties, whatever the reason may be. I'm just helping them get to where they want to be. I work here with Keller Williams. I also work with Tanner Realty Group, and we work out of Washington, Oregon, Oklahoma. So the key to success in real estate. What do you think the key to success in real estate? Anyone have any ideas?
Knowing the market.
Okay. That could be
Having
important.
someone that you can count on to help you navigate.
Okay. Yeah, having partners is definitely very important. So one of the things I think is a key to success in real estate, having a plan. We're talking about that today, obviously, and I want to explain that a little bit with a mentor story. So I went to college at Whitworth University over on the east side of the state in Spokane, Washington. I played soccer there for 4 years, and during my time there, I had a mentor. He's the assistant soccer coach for the men's team. And then my senior year, he became the head coach for the women's program. We sat down, like I said, I was going to school for medical purposes and began to look at what my future looked like, and sat down, had coffee with him, and he asked me a question that really stuck with me and kind of troubled me at the time. I couldn't really come up with a good answer, and the question was, when is Austin Cassidy at his best? It seems like a simple question until you start thinking about it. Well, when am I at my best? I was working 30, 40 hours a week. I was working in the ER at the time, playing soccer full time as well, always busy, thought I was successful. And what I realized is the reason I was able to do that is because I had a plan in mind and I stuck to it. I executed my plan. So I always think that action backed up by a plan is the best action. Yes, you can always maybe pivot or find a way through a sticky situation. However, having a plan and being able to execute on that plan is going to get you a lot further than just always flying by the seat of your pants. So the saying I like to say is a plan is a simplistic solution to life's complex questions. Whether it's real estate, whether it's financial, whether it's family, having a plan allows you to take the steps necessary and kind of simplify maybe what may otherwise be complex when you run into roadblocks along your journey here. So, reality check. Seems simple, right? Just have a plan, execute it. Okay, we can all do that. Well, Anytime Estimates American Home Buyers Survey took a survey in September of 2022 of home buyers who bought a home in 2021 and 2022. And what they found is almost 3/4 of them regretted some portion of that experience and their purchase.
3/4.
70%. 70% actually said they regretted some portion of that. And when they kind of dug a little deeper in that, what they found is that the reason that these individuals regretted the decision was they compromised on their priorities. Whether it was living in an HOA, whether it was the size of the backyard for their dog, bedrooms, baths, location. They compromised on the priorities that they wanted in a home just because the market was crazy. 2021, 2022 homes were going off the market maybe a couple hours, maybe a few days, a few weeks if you were lucky as a buyer. But if the people didn't have a plan, they just jumped right in. It was difficult for them because they're buying something that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have. They're following the masses and the all the hype from, oh, you have to get into real estate now, you have to get in. And they didn't make a plan. They didn't execute a plan that they had set beforehand. So by compromising priorities and not setting a plan early on, these people are now stuck in, most likely, a long-term mortgage on something that they don't even want. And now the market's starting to change, as we all kind of know, and they may be stuck there for a little bit. So it's important to have a plan, otherwise you may be somewhere you don't want to be. So the components of a plan, how do we build one of these? A great quote by Walt Disney says, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. The courage to pursue them really stands out to me in this quote because it's easy to make a plan. It's easy to say, I want to go here, and then just go on with our days and not do anything. It takes courage, it takes willpower to actually execute on the plans to reach our dreams. It just doesn't fall in your lap generally. So let's talk through the components of the plan, and then I'm going to break those down individually as well and talk about them a little more. Number one is to make an assessment. Then you're going to set your standards, set the timeline, and then take action. So the first component here is to make an assessment. This is your what and your why of your plan. So the what and why. What do I want and why do I want it? Seems simple enough, and sometimes you need to slow down. Think, why do I want this property? If it's real estate, why do I want this single family home, this duplex, this multi-family complex? You really have to sit down and think, why do I want this? And do I know actually what I want? You may make an assessment and see that it's an emotional decision. Could be a decision for your family, for work. Maybe it's an investment decision, a vacation home. Whatever the decision may be, right or wrong, you need to decide. But it needs to be a part of your plan, and it can be where you start. The second step is to set the standard. This is the what and how again. This what is different though. The first what is what do I want? This what is what do I really want and what do I need? So now you know I want a single family home or a duplex. Okay, what do I need this place to actually have? And then setting the standard of how. Many people think that having a plan is just, throwing numbers out there, throwing an idea out there, and then just going after it. Well, you need to set your parameters, your bumpers, while you're going down your plan. How am I going to get to that end point? And what standards do I want to keep while I pursue that? So some standards that you may have while looking at it could just be, do I want to be in an HOA or not? How many beds do I need? Baths? What do the financials look like? What percentage return do I need? And that's why I have a home buyer's workbook that I walk my clients through. And in here we have a wants and needs analysis where they're able to do a self-guided tour through their wants and needs when they're looking for homes. They need to sit down and really look at, is this a want or a need, because making a plan is going to make the decision a lot easier when they actually go to buy that home, when they know what they're looking for.
What's the percents? What was the percents on that?
They're just random percent. It's just a graphic.
Got it.
It's just, yeah, so some people may look at, do you want to go back real quick? Maybe, the HOA is more important than beds and bath. It's just a graphic.
Probably different per person.
Yeah, it all depends. It's all individualized, and that's why making a plan, and like I mentioned, following the masses, you have a goal that's separate from what Bailey's goal may be, what Bruce's goal is. So you need to have your own individualized plan, or with a spouse or with family, whoever your partners are in it, and you need to have your own plan so you can work towards that and kind of put on the blinders, so then you can execute your plan and not try to achieve someone else's goal. Next step is to set the timeline. This is obviously the win of your plan. Does your lease end in 6 months? Well, you have a timeline. Do you want to have an investment portfolio of a certain size in 10 years? Then that's your timeline. But you need to create and formulate your plan around the timeline that you want to eventually be at. So if you want to buy a home in 6 months, you need to sit down and say, what action steps do I need to take over these next 6 months to then purchase this home? Or is it an investment property? If it's an investment property, maybe you need more of a down payment. Okay, what can I do now in my financial habits to build a budget and get to where I need to be able to buy that investment property? The last step is action, and you guys are all taking an action step right now, and that's part of the preliminary build. So you need to actually sit down and build your plan. That's an action step. Then, number 2 is become accountable. By telling your plan to maybe a spouse, to family, to friends, to a real estate professional, someone like me, someone like Bruce, you're able to be held accountable to your plan. So then if you start to steer away, someone can maybe help get you back on track with what you want and where your goals are at. Number 3 is to execute that plan and stick to your plan. I've mentioned it a few times, getting off track. It's okay to pivot sometimes. Market conditions change. You may need to look for different opportunities. Maybe your plan wasn't sound from the start and you need to make small adjustments. That's okay. But you need to sit down and execute your plan and stick to your plan and not fully make U-turns unless it's absolutely necessary. So bonus tip, I didn't talk about this in the plan for today. However, Rick, you mentioned it as well. Partners are really important in real estate. Could even be the key to success in real estate. And having, this is the who of your plan. So people like me in Tanner Realty Group, Magic Equity Partners, being surrounded by the right people are going to help you execute your plan and keep you accountable. We may not hold your feet to the fire, and if that's what you want, you can communicate that and say, this is where I want to go, and I want you to help me in this way. There's the old saying of, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? Cliche saying, and there's truth to it. Having the right partners in your corner are going to help you execute your plan in a way. It doesn't need to be necessarily a professional or real estate professional. Could be family, could be friends. Whoever it may be, having partners on your side is always a win. So now I'm going to get into a story. And this story isn't about me, like, Austin, great real estate agent. It's about one of my clients and how they walked through the plan building process and the power of building a plan. So last year I had a client come to me. They were pre-approved through a lender, which is generally one of the first steps of buying a home for a residential home. And he's pre-approved, and he's looking at the market saying, I'm looking in this area, I can't find necessarily what I'm looking for, what I need and what I want. So what did I do? I sat down with them and had a consultation. We talked about, well, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you need in this home? And through that consultation, we were able to expand his search by only a few miles. And once we had the plan in place of what he was looking for based on his budget, based on his wants and needs of the home, And just based on his timeline, we waited. We had a plan in place, and we waited. Few days passed, few weeks, and then one day, that one home pops up. He had his plan in place, he had been thinking about it, and the home comes up. We take a look at it. That day we put in an offer, and we were under contract in the home. Why was he able to act so quickly and so confidently when this home came up? It's because he had a plan in place. He knew what he wanted, he knew what budget he could look in, and he knew what he needed as well in the home. Better yet, when we go to close on the home, we get the appraisal back. The equity in the home is a lot higher than what he's even putting into the deal. So, it benefited him to have a plan. Your plan may be different. It may be, I'm gonna jump on every deal until the right one comes through, but I'm still gonna actively look through it. Someone else's plan may be to wait. But your individualized plan needs to fit your goals and what you're looking for from from your plan and for your goals. So I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek. I mentioned this before. I have a home buyer's guide that I walk my clients through, home buyers, home investors, and it walks through building a plan. And I actually sit down with my clients after they've read through this and kind of started to fill it out. They can write directly in here. And I sit down and have consultations with them. As a part of this seminar, what I'm doing is I'm sitting down for 2 weeks, multiple consultations. We're not just going to sit in a room for 2 weeks together. But I'm going to sit down with you guys and help you build your real estate plan, whether it's to invest in real estate, to buy a first home, to buy that second home, vacation home, whatever your plan may be. We're going to sit down and be able to look at that together.